and welcome to the 78th episode of the Butt Up Knitting Podcast. My name is Ramona. I'm a knitter from Toronto, and welcome to my corner of the crafting world. So, this week, I did pretty good. I have one finished project. I have an actual work in progress, and a little bit of progress on my blankie. Not as much as I would have liked. So, because all of my attention, I said from last week, I was going to be focused on one thing until I got it done. Ooh, I forgot. Sorry, I got a stash acquisition. I have one of those as well. So, let's go into my finished object. So, guess what? I finished my second one of the So Faded sweater with modifications. So, I'm going to put in a video with me talking about my sweater. Just one moment. Okay, so here is the new sweater that I just finished. I still have my progress keeper on it. You can see that's... Let me come a bit closer. So when you had last seen it, it was about there. So I basically did all the extra work in the back to give myself... I'm too short to do this. A rolled hem. And that kind of swoops down to the back. It was actually a lot easier than I thought it was. So, I'm wearing my blue t-shirt underneath this. I'm going to take it off for the actual filming. So, for the yarn, I have up here, the top part, this is one I dyed myself with cake sprinkles. This one in the middle was from LICHEN Lace in the colorway Wildflowers. This one was a dip dyed one. So, I look like I'm swirling all the way around my shirt. And then the bottom one is one that I dyed up. It was a variegated, I just did it in a little Corningware? In a dish that I have. A nice circular dish. Pyrex. It was a Pyrex dish that I put aside just for this. And the colors came out beautifully. I think I made a pair of socks out of the yarn before. I'm not sure. Either way, my sweater's done. It's a little bit shorter than I anticipated, but I'm going to assume that if I wash and block it, that I can get it to be a bit longer in the front. Not too much, just a bit longer in the front. And then, in a sense, straighten out the hem. So, yay! Okay, so I showed it to you. You got to see it in all of its glory. I'm going to just take off the stitch marker. Because it is done. It doesn't need a progress keeper no more. So, my sweater. I am so happy with it. I still need to actually wash and block it. So... Remember I told you I pretty much put everything aside and I was working on my sweater. On Friday, since I didn't have to go up to Hamilton like I usually did, I decided I was going to go to the knitting loft to get some uninterrupted knitting time. So while I was there, Bruna was there, the owner of the store, Maria was there, and a few other people came in, and I was still, furiously just knitting. And I was determined I was going to get this thing done. So I think while I was there, did I start... No, I had actually started the shaping of the back maybe the day before or sometime on Thursday. No, Thursday. Yeah, I think Thursday. I just started. I only did like 2 rows. And then I ended up I was still working on it. Or no. I finished it. I finished the shaping on the back. I bound off and I met a lady, I think she was from Montreal. She came in with her friend from Iowa. And they were there like, oh, they really want to see it because I said I'm wearing it to the frolic, like on Saturday. I am wearing this thing to the frolic and they wanted to know if I could get it done. I'm like, yes. There's not much more to it. I just got to do the collar and I just got to, practically just finish off the sleeve and that's it. So I came home. I didn't go to bed until almost 2 o'clock in the morning. I put on my collar, I put on my sleeve, and I was done. I woke up on Saturday morning, early in the morning, because I wanted to make it there about 9:30 to the frolic, and according to Google Maps, that means I have to leave at like 7:30 in the morning or thereabouts. So I wove in my edges, my thing, so there's like nothing hanging off. It's all good. It's just one little thing I think on the inside of the sleeve, but I ended up doing yeah, and I wore it to the frolic, and I got lots of compliments on it. I ended up seeing the lady from Montreal while I was there, and she's there like, you finished it. You really finished it. She was actually wearing a regular So Faded sweater as well. So, let me go over the modifications that I did. I'll show you my original one. Please don't be hooked on something. Ah, no, no, no. Dang it, I'm going to have a lot of yarn to pick up afterwards. So, my original So Faded. This was completely going with the instructions that are provided on the page by ANDREA MOWRY. So, you do the back shaping. There is a garter shoulder design. You fade your colors in, and it's like for the, yeah, you fade your colors in, you finish off with a regular 2x2 hem. Pick up for the sleeves, go down, do a 2x2 rib for however long you want your sleeves to be. And there's decreasing and all that kind of stuff you have to do. I like this sweater, but then there were changes that I wanted to make. So, this being my second sweater, I felt like I could do everything. So I said, why not? So I did. So for this one, I kept the top part, I kept generally everything the same, except instead of the garter stitch shoulders, I just did it a plain stockinette. So, there's that. As I went down, when I reached down to the bottom, instead of a 2x2 rib, I didn't want to do that, because honestly, it's just because I wanted the short row hem at the back. And because I wanted that, I think it would have looked weird if I had like a 2x2 rib at the end of both of them. So I ended up doing just a regular bind off. I tried not to pull too tight, but I didn't. Did I switch to a smaller needle size? Yes, the pattern recommended that I switch. Everything else that when I looked online always suggested I switch to a smaller needle size for the bind off. So I did do that. I did my short rows on the back of my sweater. It's kind of hard to show it off right now. I ended up doing wrap and turns instead of, what? Where did that come from? Oh, you're supposed to be on this side. Oh, I ended up doing wrap and turns. Although I was tempted to do a, actually, you can actually kind of see them there. I don't know if you'll be able to notice it. Yeah, I did wrap and turns to do the shaping. I was half tempted to do like what you do on the Fish Lips Kiss, but I ended up just skipping over that, just doing it the way that I know this method will work as well, because I use it on the Stitch Surfer socks. It's the same method. See if I can find those socks. I own them, but I never wear them because I didn't learn till later how to bind off properly. But it's the same kind of thing that you do on the Stitch Surfer socks, which is the wrap and turn, which gives you the ability to like do short rows to change the sizes of stuff and all that kind of stuff. Whatever. So, yeah, I did the wrap and turn, and then I bound off. I knit one row all the way around, and then I bound off. So that gave it a nice, hold on. So it's not as apparent. To me, it looks pretty smooth of a transition. It's not as noticeable. For the sleeves, I picked up everything. I knit 1 or 2 rows, and then I just went into the ribbing, and I did like 5 rows of ribbing. I figured that was good because otherwise it would be another rolled hem, which I definitely didn't want. But I was more than happy to have the ribbing for the collar and for the sleeves, for the short sleeves. I already made notes as another one that I wanted to do. I wanted to try and figure out how to do a boat neck and try to figure out how to do a V-neck. I have ideas in my head as to how to do them, but I actually feel like I should write them down before I try it. And besides, I'm actually starting to run out of sock yarn. Because for like years, I didn't really buy that much. I dyed a few skeins myself, but I didn't really buy that much, mostly due to, lack of funds. So these 2 sweaters, technically, that's 8 skeins of yarn that I've already used. Plus I finished 2 or 3 pairs of socks for this year. So it's used up a good amount of my yarn. So I cannot complain about that. So that's 2 sweaters, 2 of my life, knit in like 2 months. I am so happy with that. So, this is my new finished object. What else did I work on? I ended up not getting my sock ready to really work on it at the Frolic like I had wanted to. But that was okay. It worked out alright with the amount of busyness that I had. I ended up working a little bit. I think I just pretty much just worked on the toe. But guess what? I still finished the sock. It might have taken me until like Monday? I think either Sunday or Monday is when I finally bound off the toe. So last time you had seen this one, I was here, and I just finished the last row of color, and I did the toe. Let me get that down. Put it on the blocker. And one thing I could say is because of my second sew faded sweater, I found a good way to sew in ends that I actually like. You don't understand how many years it's taken me to find that. Okay. Like, it could still be improved upon, but it's a lot better than what I had before. So that is one sock done. The colors look so much more intense on the screen than they do to me in real life. To me, they look more like a pastel, but it looks a lot more intense on screen. I like that. So that's one sock done. I cast on the second sock, I think on Monday. I think that's when I had the time to do it. So I'm still just on the cuff. That's as far as I've made. I still got, I don't even remember how many rows I did. I think I probably did about 20 rows for the cuff. So I'm maybe almost halfway done. I got a ways to go. Like, let's see here. Yeah, almost halfway. So, working on it. So by the time you see it, I should have a lot more of the leg done, because I don't have a sweater that I need to rush myself through. So let me take off the progress keeper off of this one. Okay, so that one's done. Woo! Alright, so that was my next work in progress that I actually worked on that was not considered a sweater. I did not work on my shawl. The chrysalis shawl. I did not work on that at all. That would require, because I'm about 1 or 2 rows away from starting the brioche. So because I had other stuff to work on that really needed my time and attention, or I wouldn't have the concentration to do other stuff, I did not even pull that out of the bag. That's still in the bag. It's still there. I'll start working on it again this week because I don't plan on casting on anything else on. So, the blankie. This is the 1st of May. I did not finish my goal with the blankie. Unfortunately, the sweater really did take up so much more of my time than I expected, and then I ended up being very, very tired, because for my weekend, I went to bed late trying to finish my sweater. I woke up early to go to the frolic. After I went to the frolic, I had to book it all the way to Hamilton, because there was a lady at my church who was having a 90th birthday party. Known her my entire life. So I went to the party. My mom's like, yes, we're going to leave by 9 o'clock, 9:30. That never works. Never worked. Although me and my brother were ready to jump into the car by that point. But at the end, we didn't end up leaving till maybe close to 10:30. And it's an hour away from my house. So I'm expecting, of course, I'm going to be sleeping as soon as I get in the car. So we're driving down King Street in Hamilton. And when we start getting close to Jackson Square, there's like major traffic. And we're trying to figure out like what's going on. We see people with hammers. And inside Jackson Square, there's this theater called Landmark Cinema. And I'm thinking, okay, maybe they all went to go see the Avengers, and they have like Thor hammers that they're giving out. But were they like, my cousin's like, no, that's not right. Those hammers aren't right. I looked at them and I'm like, yeah, they're heart shaped. Why are they heart shaped? No, that's not it. And we realized a lot of them were congregating well past, like we drove past the movie theater, and there was a massive lineup of people. They were all lining up for the bus. Or they're like, what? Are they going on the Go bus? And my personal opinion, if you want to get a seat, you don't stand in line on the route of the Go bus. You go to the Go station, which is like a 5-minute walk, and you get on the bus there, because then at least you can be guaranteed to get a seat. But when, like, we were passing, like, at least 75 to 100 people per Go bus stop on the way to the highway. So, with the exception of maybe the last 2 that didn't really have it, because that was kind of too far to walk. And they had these heart-shaped hammers. And I'm, like, sitting down there, I'm like, okay, I wonder, because I remember having a conversation with one of my cousins about Korean bands, as to when they come to Canada, or they come to Ontario. They play in Hamilton because it's cheaper than playing in Toronto. I'm like, yeah, obviously. So I said, hold on a second. So I pull out my phone. By this point, it's probably about 11 o'clock at night. I don't know if this girl's still up, because I know she was packing up to move back from university. So I picked up my phone, I sent her a text. I'm like, are there any SK pop groups that are supposed to be coming to Hamilton? And she told me, yeah. I can't remember what name she told me. She's like, yeah, there is. I think the concert just finished. They're not one of my favorite groups. I'm like, yeah, not one of your favorite groups, but apparently it's a favorite of a lot of them. So that at least eased my mind. By the time I made it back home, it was just after 12 o'clock. I had to get up by 6 o'clock to go to work. And then after work, I was planning, I'm going to, since it was local yarn shop day, which I forgot to mention on the podcast. I got to make sure I get it right next week. Because the knitting loft spread it out over 2 weekends. So I said, okay, I'm going to go Sunday after work. Hopefully, I'll have the time. I was supposed to finish at 3. They were having a big sale at my store. I ended up being there till 4. And basically, once that happened, I'm just like, I don't have the energy. I basically came home, and I was supposed to crash, but it's like I felt like I didn't even have the energy to fall asleep. So I sat down there, and I was like, okay. And that was pretty much it, and I didn't go to bed till like 10 o'clock at night. So it felt like it was a very, very long day. I think the first time I actually picked up, I say, what did I do on Monday that made me not do this? I can't even remember why I didn't work my blanket on Monday. But yesterday, was the first day that I picked up my blanket. So I only added on 2 more squares since the last time that you saw it. So I actually counted, and because of all of that, I only did 22 squares for the month. But that's still pretty good. That's better than none that I was doing for like months before. So, let's see, where did I put it? This is where I left off last time you had seen. And then here are the new ones that I added. Only 2. I can't remember this one. Uruguay? Del Manos? I think so. Oh no, Manos del Uruguay. I got this one. I'd use it for something. Did I use it for socks? I can't remember. But either way, the color's gorgeous. I love this one. And then I did this one. This one's actually a self-striping yarn. It goes from dark gray, light gray, and I think there's a pink in it. But I never made it, like, you can barely even see the fact that there's 2 grays inside there. But yeah, that's what I did. So I added on 22 squares in total of my massive blanket. I will put in the total because I am not counting that right now. So, blanket, done. Finished working on. So happy. So, as much as I didn't get as much done as I wanted to, I did get quite a bit done. So, it's not bad. It's not like it's not like it's going to be all that much of a disappointment. It's a giant work in progress. I've been working on this thing since, 2013? So yeah, there is my massive blanket. All right. So I only have one more thing to show you, and that is my stash acquisition. So basically, I finished all of my shopping at the Knitter's Frolic within 15 minutes of reaching there. Because I pretty much knew what I wanted, and I knew there was a lot of other stuff that I wanted to get, but when you don't have the funds for it, you prioritize. So I did. So I got something that I know shipping would cost me a lot more than me just going and buying it. So Christina from the Cozy Knitter ended up getting a booth at the Knitter's Frolic. It was actually quite easy to find. It's like as soon as you went into the doors and you went to the left, that's usually where the purple pearl is. Just go down a little bit, and Christina's booth was right there, and it was all nice and full, and I was really, really happy for her that she got it. So I sat down there, and I went through all of the different skeins, colorways that I saw, and I didn't want to get anything with purple because I end up having a lot of self-striping yarn that ends up being purple for hand dyed, so I said I'm not doing that. So I went through everything, and I came home with this beautiful one. So this is my new skein. This one is called Be My Belle. So I love it. I'm keeping these ones for me because the last time I did it, I made socks with her yarn. I got it at, where was it? It was at the Knitters Guild meeting. And she made a colorway specifically for the Knitters Guild. I knit those socks, and my aunt looked at it and says, I want them. That's not happening this time. This is mine. This is going to stay mine. So this is on her Bliss base. It's an 80-20 superwash merino and 20% nylon. So I'm not going to cake these up. I have quite a few other stuff that I have to go through first. So it's going to go on top of my eventual pile and leave it at that. I think that's everything for my works in progress, my stash acquisitions. Yeah, I didn't really do anything much. My only plan is that I'm not planning on casting on anything new for now because I have two projects that I'm working on. I got my not my sweater. I finished my sweater. I got my shawl. I got my socks. I'm gonna work on those right now until I get something cleared out. I already determined. I know what my next sweater is going to be. Here's the first problem: I don't have the yarn for it, and I have not actually purchased a pattern. So I have to do those first. Once I get the beginning of that, then I'll continue casting on new things. In the meantime, I'm just gonna work on those two projects, and if I finish a pair of socks, then I'll cast on another one. That socks are gonna be constant. So that actually is everything. This is like the longest that I've ever really sat down here and talked. I wanted to say thank you to all of those who were at the frolic and came up and said hi to me. Um, One of my viewers came in with her daughter and told me that, and her daughter told me that she watches me all the time with her mom. I'm like, thank you. Unfortunately, unless I write names down, I have a really, really hard time remembering them, especially if I just meet the person. So I'm sorry I don't remember your name, but thank you very much for coming up and saying hi. It was really nice to meet you. I ended up meeting a few other people whose names, honestly, their pictures are in my face. Their face is in my head. That's what I meant to say. Their face is in my head. Like in my mind. I'm looking directly at them, but I cannot remember their names. So, but it was nice to meet them, have conversations with them, get to meet other people, and catch up with old friends. So that's actually going to be it for today. Because I have, let's see, it's 12:30 now. I actually have to get ready for work soon after. I don't know if I'm gonna edit and update this now. If I'm gonna do it when I get home from work, I don't know. One of the two. So that is everything. I got no videos of me singing or anything like that because nobody really recorded anything. Although apparently I was missed at church on Saturday. So that is going to be everything. So I'll see you again next week, hopefully. And hope you have a good day. Bye.